Well, we have the Ole Miss Rebels going against the Texas A&M Aggies this weekend in a Week 9 matchup. It's another SEC clash. But I'm gonna give my prediction for the game. But if you haven't, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. And by doing so, it greatly helps out my channel and it helps me grow as a content creator. Well, we got the number 15 team in the country in Ole Miss coming off a loss to LSU in Baton Rouge, and we got Texas A&M team that coming off a loss to South Carolina. So both teams coming off a loss, and both teams look to kind of bounce back from their losses. And I got the stats for the game, and doing some research on both teams. I'm gonna start with Ole Miss. Of course, they got Jackson Dart. He has 1,771 yards on the season. He has 11 touchdowns and has 7 interceptions. He's slowly getting better. He started off kind of rough, but he's starting to settle down in the offense, and he's getting better each game. On the flip side, Texas A&M has Haynes King. He stepped up. He's thrown for 941 yards and has 6 touchdowns, but he has 6 interceptions. Hasn't been doing pretty good quarterbacking the team. Majority of the team, offensive, production is coming from Devin Achane, and he's one heck of a player. He has 627 yards on the season with 4 touchdowns. He's giving that spark to Texas A&M offense, and definitely a guy that Ole Miss is going to have to account for. And Ole Miss has Quinshawn Judkins, a freshman, very, very good player. He has 831 yards on the season with 12 touchdowns. So definitely a guy to look out for. He's definitely going to be a beast in the SEC. He's already putting up good numbers. Like I said, he's just a freshman. So Texas A&M is going to have a time trying to, contain him. And of course, they got Zach Evans, one of the best running backs in the country as well. But Judkins has been showing, that seems like he's the better back right now. But 2 good rushing running backs for Ole Miss. Of course, Mississippi State, not Mississippi State, but Mississippi has Jonathan Mingo. He has 575 yards for 3 touchdowns, so a good wide receiver. And of course, Texas A&M had Evan Stewart, but I don't know if he's still injured or not or anything like that. But he was definitely one of the best players. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he's not playing, but he was definitely one of their good players. No, I'm thinking about Nia Smith. That's who it is. Yeah, Nia Smith is not on the team. So, yeah, Evan Stewart has stepped up. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in this matchup. Points per game for both teams. Ole Miss is averaging 38.3 points a game. Texas A&M is only averaging 21.9. That's not good. Going up in this matchup, Ole Miss has the advantage there. Points allowed, Ole Miss is allowing 20.8 points a game. Texas A&M is allowing 20.4 points a game. So they're neck and neck when it comes to the points allowed for both teams. So, you can split that, both ways. Total yards, Ole Miss is averaging 490 yards. Texas A&M is averaging 341. Advantage goes to Ole Miss. If you were to break that down, Ole Miss is averaging 238 through the air, and they're averaging 252 on the ground. So, like I said, Ole Miss, they got balanced play. They're primarily a running team, but they have the balance now that Jackson Dart is getting better as the season goes on. Texas A&M, if you were to break that down for them, they're allowing where they're averaging 221 through the air, and they're gaining 120 on the ground. So, like I said, the advantage goes to Ole Miss as far as total yardage. Yards allowed, Ole Miss is allowing 365. And if we were to break that down, that's 207 through the air, and they're allowing 157 rush yards a game. So there's a chance, Texas A&M can run the ball, especially with Devin Achane coming out the backfield. So that's going to be key for Ole Miss to stop Devin Achane. Texas A&M is allowing 253 yards per game, and they're allowing 174 through the air, and they're allowing 179 on the ground. So if we really look at it, Texas A&M has a slightly better defense, but Ole Miss is better at the run than Texas A&M is. But Texas A&M is better at the pass against, than Ole Miss is. So Interesting matchup. Like I said, I'm looking at both schedules. Yeah, Ole Miss, they played Kentucky. They beat them 22 to 19. That's a game Kentucky could have won. They had two chances getting into the end zone, but they fumbled the ball. Will Levis fumbled the ball, so it was a tough loss for Kentucky. But Kentucky could, definitely won that game in my opinion. But then, of course, Ole Miss put up 28 points on Ole Miss in their game against Vanderbilt. Um, Ole Miss was able to get 52 points, so they beat them 52-28. So that was a little game. Then they played Auburn, and they beat them 48-34. But Auburn was in the game, and it's just interesting, considering Robert Asher is not really that good passing the ball. So Auburn was in that game, and then they played at LSU their last game, and they lost 45-20. LSU, it looked like Ole Miss was going to start off and do really really good, but LSU completely, I think, shut them down this whole second half, and LSU just has risen, as far as offensive play. Jaden Daniels led them to victory, and they beat them soundly, at home. It was a huge win for LSU. So we'll switch over to Texas A&M. You know, they had a close. They lost to Appalachian State early on in the season at home. They had a close win against Miami, 17-9. They beat Arkansas, a game that they could have lost, guys. Arkansas was rolling, and same thing like with Kentucky. Arkansas fumbled, had turnovers and kept Texas A&M in the game. So Texas A&M got the victory. Then they played Mississippi State. Mississippi State beat them 42-24. Mississippi State just completely, did what they wanted to do. They was able to run the ball and everything on them. Then they had the game against my Alabama Crimson Tide. We had a lot of turnovers, and we kept Texas A&M in the game. That game, they beat, they lost 20-24. So, and then of course Texas A&M lost to South Carolina last week, 30-24. South Carolina just put up, basically did what they wanted to do against Texas A&M, and they was at home in William Brice Stadium, and they got the victory. So if you look at the records, of course Ole Miss has a better record. Texas A&M, has offensive problems, and I just saw something the other day about 5 players were suspended from the team for some locker room incident. I think something about smoking weed or something like that. So Texas A&M is reeling right now, and I'm looking at the spread for the game, and I'm gonna go ahead and give my prediction. The spread is at -2, and I can see it being like that. Considering Ole Miss has to go to Texas A&M, if I'm not mistaken. And if I were to get a prediction, I wrote it down. I have Ole Miss win the game 27-24. Like I said, it's gonna be on the road, and it's gonna be tough playing in Texas A&M Stadium, but I can see Ole Miss pulling it out. Like I said, they got the two-headed monster at running back, and in my opinion, Jackson Dart may not be where he wants to be, but at this point in time, I think he's a better quarterback than Haynes King. Ole Miss's defense, in my opinion, they give up a lot of rushing yards, and I think that's why Texas A&M is going to be in this game with Devin A-Chain. But Ole Miss has they can be disruptive and they can cause problems. I think they'll throw different type of packages at Haynes King and try to confuse them, and I think they'll get the victory, close victory at Texas A&M on the road, and I think they're gonna bounce back from their loss against LSU. I think they're gonna get some things figured out and be able to scheme against Texas A&M. In my opinion, Texas A&M has the better defense, but Ole Miss has the better offense. And normally you would go with the home team in this situation, but I don't think other than A-Chain, Texas A&M has anything going. But who knows? Maybe Evan Stewart can step up, in the game and maybe get the victory. I don't know, but in my opinion, I see Ole Miss pulling it out, close victory, 27-24. But what you guys think? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, guys, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.